À l'école, on ne va pas tester ton intelligence. On teste ta capacité à mémoriser des choses, comme un esclave en fait. À mémoriser des ordres, tu vois, genre, rappelle-toi, tu fais comme ça, comme ça. Oui.
Because we know what the fuck school was made for. Why are we pretending? We know school was created to create workers. Do you still know? What the fuck is X? I didn't really learn anything. Dropouts, as we do.
Cheers.
Drop out, my
Cheers.
man.
Cheers.
School doesn't teach you much, honestly.
The problem with those statements is that they lie in oversimplification and misleading of the education system. While some of these points might have elements of truth, they ignore the bigger picture of the education system, and if taken seriously and taken as truth, it can be harmful for us. Now, you might be asking, all those people who tell us every day that school is this, school is that, are they wrong? Well, mostly yes. Let me explain. I remember a couple of weeks back in computer science where our teacher asked this guy a question about his future, where he literally responded, "Oh, I'm gonna get rich, so I don't need school to become rich and successful. I'm gonna do trading, crypto, and all that." Now, those kind of people are the one who listen to those TikTok influencers who sell dropshipping courses or courses on NFTs, crypto trading. Those TikTok influencers sell dreams and say that they promise easy money with very little effort. If you think that I'm one of those teenagers who's selling a dream and says that he made thousands and thousands or even millions of dollars or euros, well, let me tell you, you're wrong. I'm just a normal 16-year-old kid who hasn't even made 1,000 euros off of his bare hands and whose dream is to document his entire journey to the top on this channel. Let me tell you this. Throughout this whole videos, all my statements are from viable sources and they're going to be stated throughout this whole video. The National Study of Millionaires is a study made by Ramsey Solution, who is known to be the largest study of millionaires. Yes, you heard it right, the largest. This study has been conducted on 10,000 different millionaires. Millionaire! So, this study tells us that 88% of millionaires have a degree, at least a bachelor's degree, which is the basic one. Now, of course, there are people who say that they're just gonna be self-made millionaires, like Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. Yes, those two people did later drop out of university, but let me state you this, that Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg went to Harvard University, which is known to be one of the hardest universities to be in. So just the fact that they went to Harvard changes everything, because the amount of general and specialized knowledge they had is just enormous. Now the thing you might be asking now is why school is so important. So first of all, in school you learn how to write correctly and communicate correctly. You won't be able to pitch an email, negotiate, write content if you don't know how to use your communication skills and write. And also, apart from that, there's tons of different subjects where they're super important. For example, math. Like, do we have really to explain why math is so important in business? How are you going to calculate the different profit margins, your board expectations, etc.? Those are key principles. For example, I have currently my copybook from economics, where I literally learned tons of stuff. For example, on the profit margins, I learned stuff on the sales pages, I learned stuff on pricing products or services. I didn't even know the difference between a product and a service. Yes, school doesn't directly teach you how to handle a business, but they give you the tools. Okay, they teach you how to communicate with different people, negotiate with different people. It could be investors, it can be collaborators, it could be anyone, but those are the key tools you need to start a business. Now, yes, I do agree that the system is flawed, but you have to use it to your advantage. There are two types of knowledges, general knowledge and specialized knowledge. General knowledge, no matter how much in quantity or variety, it will be in very little use in the accumulation of money. Now let me read you out a quote from Think and Grow Rich. I'm gonna read it straight out of this book. Knowledge will not attract money unless it is organized and intelligently directed through practical plans of action to definite end of accumulation of money. So in basic terms, when you have knowledge, you have to organize correctly and use it to your advantage, which school doesn't learn us how to do it. We all heard the quote, knowledge is power. No, they're wrong. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is only potential power. It only becomes power when it is organized correctly and used on a definite plan of action to our advantage. Now, let me give you a straight example of general knowledge. Let's take a history teacher, for example. He might know thousands and thousands of different facts on history or ancient Greece, but if he doesn't transform it into a viable resource, product, or service, his financial situation won't change. So that's why I say that you have to use it to your advantage. General knowledge, if it is transformed into specialized knowledge and you use it to become rich, what can I tell you? So if you still didn't understand, specialized knowledge is, let me quote to you, the deep practical understanding in a specific field that creates value. And the most important word here is value. So if you cannot use your general knowledge to create value, it's basically useless. Now, let me read you another very important quote from the book Think and Grow Rich once again. Thomas A. Edison had only 3 months of schooling, only 3, but he didn't die poorly. Henry Ford, the one who created Ford, had only limited schooling, but he managed to do pretty well in life. The fact that Ford and Edison did not have much formal schooling does not give today's young people an excuse to drop out of school. Today, a minimum standard of formal education is necessary to get a good start in the business world. Now, let me tell you another story from Dave Thomas. Dave Thomas was the founder of Wendy's, the famous restaurant chain. And yes, he was a high school dropout. But in 1993, 45 years after that he dropped out of high school, he went back and got his GED. You know why? He knew that today's people shouldn't drop out of school, especially from high school when you don't even have a degree, not even the basic one. He was basically afraid that his success would convince other teens to drop out of school, just like him. And he quotes, "I tell people to get all the education they possibly can. The fact that I got my diploma 45 years after dropping out shows that it's never too late," said Thomas. "Even with everything that's happened in my life, getting this diploma is one of the most important accomplishments in my life." So yes, ladies and gentlemen, school is important. Yes, it is fun, but you still have to use it to your advantage and not drop out randomly. The fact that Bill Gates dropped out of Harvard was because he saw a huge opportunity in personal computers. But in the 21st century, those huge opportunities aren't the same. So thanks everyone for watching. If you don't agree with some of the things that I say, because it's honestly my personal opinion, I'm open to some respectful debates in the comment section. So as always, I'm keeping an eye from afar, and I'll see you at the top. See ya.